Okay, Doc, this is going to be my attempt at creating a short and concise and hopefully fairly digestible video to help you understand our signature process, which is called the R.O.I method. Okay, and the reason why that's important is ultimately because we have the exact same objective. Yours is to be able to go out and help and serve as many people in your community through the gift that you've been blessed with, which is chiropractic and facilitating that in people's lives. And my purpose, my intent here is to be able to equip as many people like you on the front lines with the tools, information, and resources to be able to effectively market yourself and your message and chiropractic to your communities to ensure people not only come in and see you, which is important, but come in and see you with the lens that understands what you do, how you do it, and ultimately wants to actually accept your care recommendation. Say, yes, Doc, I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. So let's jump into it. Let's start with the high-level overview of the R.O.I method. And yes, it does stand for something. Okay, it stands for relevancy, omnipresence, and intimacy. Probably also stands for something that you've never actually gotten out of your marketing or advertising campaigns long-term: return on investment. But this will likely be very different. Relevancy. Ultimately, it comes down to this: saying the right thing to the right person at the right time. Okay, you and I very well both know that people are in and out of market for different products and services at different times of their life. There's nothing we can do about that, right? We can't make somebody need chiropractic today, or at least be open to receiving it. But what we can do is, first of all, create and then well articulate our message, put it out there in the world, hopefully on platforms that allow us to go from one-to-one conversations, which is what we're used to one to thousands or one to tens of thousands, with just a little bit of ad spend to push that out to more and more and more people. But once we have that, it'll eventually land and resonate with people that'll perk their ears up, because their pain, which is a symptom of their problem, right? Two intrinsic motivators in this world, if you really want to boil it down: fear of loss or hope of gain. And it's a lot easier to lead with fear of loss. That's typically what someone's pain is, right? When they have a pain, you're gonna buy something, a product or a service, to try to alleviate or remove that pain in a very simple sense, right? So what we wanna do is identify that pain in people's life so that when they see you moving forwards, which is part of the omnipresence section of the campaign, but when they see you moving forwards, they resonate with that initial thing, that initial moment that you entered their world, their ecosystem, their life, right? You're competing with thousands of messages, thousands of advertisements every single day. What do you want your initial reference point to be with people, right? Do you want it to be the doctor they saw out at the fair or at the store or at their work doing a talk or whatever, where it was kind of intrusive, it sounded interesting, some of it resonated, and then something that's normally super expensive all of a sudden became not very expensive, and might as well go and try to capitalize on this thing? Where probably their lens at least some level, probably to a great extent, is, this is a deal and I want to capitalize on it, right? If you're dropping your pricing to get somebody through the front door, that's ultimately part of the lens in which they perceive you in, which isn't necessarily the best person in the industry, right? If you want to equate price and value, normally they go hand in hand. At least people think they do, right? So if you're only and always going to be the discount provider of things, whether it's good for a short season or not, which in my opinion it is, you should do those types of things for a season to get the volume and the at-bats to build the foundation that you can then grow even higher upon with more value, with more information, with more authority and better positioning articulated within your messaging, right? If you can come in to a conversation of that as an authority, somebody that people look up to as a trusted source of information, because of that initial contact, your entire world will change. You will have people start to walk through the front door after being part of this entire marketing sort of funnel saying, "Doc, so great to meet you. I've been following you for a long time. I saw that thing you did with Sharon, and Sharon had the same problem as me, and I saw the transformation she walked through, and then I saw what you did with Steve and that other person and that person, and I couldn't actually believe that you posted that thing about what you believed about the opioid epidemic, and your thoughts on that, and I didn't even consider any of that, but you opened my mind up to a bunch of things. I just really resonate with you. And then they come in and you say, hey, this is what I'm gonna recommend in terms of an initial care plan, and then you're probably gonna look like this and this and this moving forwards, and they're gonna say, I trust you, doc. I trust you, so let's do it. Totally different lens. You weren't trying to sell them on something, you just put good stuff out there in the world, and then they came back to you. Very different. Next, we've got Omnipresence. And ultimately, this is probably one of the most, if not the most important part of the campaign. It's what truly allows you to be the big fish in a small pond, and it allows you to become top of mind and the only logical choice in your space, in the chiropractic sphere, when somebody actually is in market for your service. You're gonna be the only one they'll ever consider seeing if you don't tactfully put a message and an offer in front of them based off of their engagement and whether they visited the sales page or not. And there's different tactics that can go along there, but the point is you can accelerate that process. So instead of you putting things out and waiting for them to reach back out to you, instead of doing that, you can put things out, and then based off of what they're doing, what they're engaging with, and how they're engaging with it, you can then put an offer in front of them with very different languaging and most likely not a discount. When we talk about omnipresence, there's something very important that I want you to understand, okay? And that's that omnipresence isn't just about retargeting somebody with another message and then another message and another message, because that's how you stay top of mind, because it's not. That's how you become a freaking mosquito in somebody's life where they're like, I see this person everywhere. Like, God damn, hide, spam, annoying, get out of my newsfeed. They see you at the grocery store, they say, you're that annoying person online. Hopefully that's not the case, but what should happen is you've tactfully put different pieces of content, and we've identified 13 different, we call them content types or content blocks, that are essentially different levers or sort of pulleys that we can implement at different times in the marketing funnel so that they're relevant at each step of the journey. If they enter your world or your ecosystem on Facebook, somebody, and you can retarget them on YouTube because you're starting to make video content like this, damn, you look good, right? And when you have different types of content on different platforms that are relevant to the platform, where somebody goes to YouTube to sit down and watch a video to actually learn something more often than not, or to digest something, or to be entertained with something, a lot differently than the psychology of a user on Facebook, which is instant, quick dopamine hits, very different than YouTube. You have to have the right type of content on the right platform. And you also have to identify, in terms of frequency and timing, more importantly, the right types of messages to put in front of somebody based off of where they're at in that journey, right? So if somebody's been following you around for 3 days, it's very different than the types of messaging that you should put in front of them at 30 days or 120 days. It's also very different based off of whether they're actually watching and digesting your content, or visiting your sales page, or visiting your scheduling page, or opening your emails, etc. These are all things and filters and triggers that you can and very well should be using in your marketing, because it just makes sense, right? Like, if you could actually know what somebody's thinking about, what they're actually doing in terms of digesting your content, or even just to boil it down, if they're sitting in front of you, if they're maintaining eye contact with you, you're probably at least to a certain extent resonating with them. If they're like this, you probably lost them, you're probably irrelevant, right? And you can figure those things out online and then maximize your ad spend and just put money where it should go. Now, the last component of this is intimacy. And it doesn't mean what you may think it means. What it means is fulfilling someone's inner, deeply driven and motivated desire for connection with other people in a way that is completely opposite from what most marketers are probably telling you, which is automate, automated webinars, automated sales funnels, just set it and forget it, just, build everything once and then enjoy the fruits forever. Like, all that stuff within reason, it maybe has a time and a place in an application, but I'll tell you this, when people are zigging, I recommend you zag. That's where we found the best success in our business. When we tried to compete in blue oceans instead of red oceans, Blue Ocean Strategy. If you haven't read that book, highly recommend it. If you can actually connect with people on your social media platforms through the comment section, through the direct message section, through email, by actually having people reply to you and then you reply back like a real freaking human being, or hop on a Facebook Live and say their names, you can really connect with somebody. Fosters a much different relationship than the person or the gal that just came in off the street or saw somebody, your CA, at an event and they did a screening, or from the cold call that got you into the school to do a talk, or the corporate event or the dinner with it, whatever. Totally different lenses when somebody actually puts their hand up and actually reaches out after you have resonated with them and follow them around tactfully, and they've got a question or a comment or a concern and they put it out into your world and you actually frickin' see it and then reply like a real human does. Seems super common sense, but I'll tell you this, like honestly, probably 80-90% of our clients just don't reply to their comments. Blows my mind. Huge opportunity here. You also want to foster an actual community of people, a tribe essentially. Your online tribe can and very well should be derived from your offline tribe, which is your existing practice members. Why not create something online which is sort of an ecosystem of all your people, your biggest advocates working together to sort of shine light in all the dark areas, and so we illuminate the entire room. Now, when you put these three things together, what happens is what we call the nuclear effect, okay? It's essentially truly becoming an authority in your space, having people walk through your front door and say, I resonate with you, I super appreciate what you're doing, I'm here because I believe you're the person that's gonna help solve my pain or my problem in my life. My certainty level is so high that I went from somebody offline sort of following you around or stalking you to you sort of just persistently being everywhere all the time, to the point where I said, if I want to actually solve this thing, you're the only logical person to do it for me. That's the difference between traditional stuff and the R.O.I method and the nuclear effect. Now the beautiful part about firing on all cylinders and tactically putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time in their life and retargeting them with specific pieces of media that in turn raise their certainty level that you're going to be the person, and chiropractic is going to be the thing that naturally and effectively, without drugs or harmful side effects, alleviates their, not only their pain, but actually fixes the problem, the thing that's causing their pain, and it continues to come back because they never used to actually solve the root cause. When you actually tactfully deploy your messaging out into the community and you really actually become the big fish in the small pond, and you have sort of a celebrity effect within people, you start to realize that you have the perfect client with relevancy and omnipresence. When you're saying the right thing to the right person at the right time, and you're a little bit vulnerable with them, you're reaching out, you're sharing your story, you're replying to their comments, you're fostering a community, you have people that actually resonate with you, where you wake up and you say, these are the people that I actually want to frickin' serve. I'm happy that I'm actually making a difference with this gift, and these people appreciate it and they're willing to follow their end of what they need to do to actually get the result and then maintain the result, continue that cycle in their life. And when you're relevant, you're omnipresent, you start to realize that you can charge what you deserve to charge. You can actually receive the value with a dollar sign attached to it, because people are magnetized towards you and your positioning, your authority is raised. You're not the dollar discount, you're not the Groupon provider, and you'll never be again, because you're now the authority. As well as, and when you're omnipresent and you're intimate, you're in front of them again and again and again and again in the right way, and you fostered a community and you've answered their questions, you start to build a connection with people. Right? Maybe it's from the mirror exposure effect, maybe it's from the red car effect, maybe it's from your reticular activator opening up and just sort of people resonating with you because they see you again and again and again. Obviously, all three of these things create the nuclear effect, which is the differentiator, the separator, the secret sauce, if you would, that you've been looking for, that the ultimate result that every single chiropractor, over 100 that we've worked with, that's the result that they want. But the kicker is they're typically not willing to do the work in order to get there. Probably because of two reasons. One, lack of certainty that that path will lead to greener pastures because nothing else has ever frickin' worked. Or two, because they just don't want to do the work. Maybe it's because they're too busy, maybe it's because they have other commitments, maybe it's because they suck on camera, or they think they do, or whatever, but they're normally not willing to sort of walk that path. But if you're the type of person that this resonates with, that this just from a very basic level makes sense, and you resonate with this concept, then I guess I have a proposition for you. One, reach out, ask for help from us. If we do it in a capacity where you apply for our program implementing the ROI method through Power Surge Marketing, and we're fit for each other that way, great. I look forward to serving you at a very intimate level. That's where we put intimacy in our offering. We help you through the process. We give you the blueprint. We help craft your personal story through one of the 7 story types. Maybe it's the hero journey, maybe it's not. We help you film video, we help you edit that, we help you do all the things sequentially and systematically, so it's very easy to actually go ahead and implement. But if you're not there yet, because you're not convinced, or because you don't have the time, or you don't think you have the money or the resources, or you don't think this is self-sustaining, you don't think it'll work long term, I still challenge you to do this. I challenge you to reach out, comment below, do whatever you want to do, but ask for different pieces of what we do and how we do it. And here's why. I'll give it to you. I don't need to work with everybody. Some people can figure out pieces of this and get a darn good enough result to just sort of continue failing forwards and just get something at least pretty good online that truly differentiates yourself and isn't just a one-to-one or a direct response offer type of a campaign long term. That will stop working as effectively as it is right now. The point is, ask for some resources, ask for some tools, ask some hard questions like, what's the real part about all this, or whatever. I want to help equip you. I want to put this in your hands because I want to change 1 million people's life through chiropractic, and I'm not a practitioner, so I can't do it that way. But what I can do is put the tools, information, and resources in front of doctors like you, and if you're still watching this, I applaud you, truly I do. That if you want to make an impact, that if you want to serve more people, and if you want to improve more people's quality of life, I challenge you to get out of your way a little bit and ask the questions of us. I want to help you, I truly do. I want to change more lives, I want to impact more people, and I want to ensure that you get the sort of desired life that you deserve through the tools that you possess once and for all, or maybe at a higher level. I don't know where you're at, but I know that doctors that we work with at an intimate level and even at an unintimate level have their practices, and as a consequence, typically their lives benefit from it. So hopefully this made sense. We'll see you in the next video.